At the time, I had no idea what fungus gnats were.
Yeah.
And I opened it up and I was like, what? There's like a fruit fly.
Flying out.
I'm like, oh, it's a fruit fly, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I top dressed all of my plants.
Oh, you inoculated the
I
entire
did.
house.
It was so good. It's like, here, everyone, have fungus gnats.
Hi friends, I'm Karina with Sacred Elements. Welcome to my channel.
What brought you here? What brought us here? Well, actually,
boy.
that's a question for you because you reached out to me and you sent me some of your tonics. And at the time, I had no problems with houseplant pests. The tonics arrived. I was like, I'm so excited to give these a try. And I started using them. And I noticed immediately the growth change. I'd say after about 2 months, I noticed the growth change. And then I noticed how things became more vibrant. And then we had an exchange of plants with a bunch of friends. And I brought in mealybug and aphids
All
and
the fun stuff.
fungus gnats. Fungus gnats came in with a bag of soil from the nursery. I got this bag of soil and I opened it up, and at the time I had no idea what fungus gnats were.
Yeah.
And I opened it up and I was like, what? There's like a fruit fly.
Flying out.
I'm like, oh, it's a fruit fly, whatever. And I top dressed all of my plants.
Oh, you inoculated the
I
entire
did. It
house.
was so good. It's like, here, everyone, have fungus gnats.
Yes.
And I literally topped off like half of my plants. And then that summer I spent so much time trying to figure out what to do with the fungus gnats, and I was also dealing with thrips for the first time. So then I reached out to you. I'm like, what do I even do?
Yeah,
Where do I even begin? Right,
Yeah.
that was a while ago. And
Yeah,
then you
almost
started
3 years
educating me.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but why did you reach out to me?
And because I've been making these for years, and I mean, it was so the houseplant community on Instagram, on social media, was just starting to blow up, and I wasn't familiar with that so much, and I get to see all the questions and problems people are having, and there didn't seem to really be a solution, a natural, organic solution for that. And in your home, whether you have kids or pets, sensitivities, any of that, no worries about what sort of chemicals or salts.
That's the part that I was so excited about. This idea that you were literally harnessing the energy from plant life, from nature,
exactly,
to then assist nature that's struggling. In my case, it was houseplants, and I was like, this is all coming, like the root source is what my plants already need.
Yeah, it's all plants feeding plants. It all comes from the earth, and it's all extracted into that for that.
Exactly.
It's amazing, all aspects of plant health. So you have growth stimulants, the hormones that keep the plant healthy. It comes back to, you might have a pest problem, but if you're not helping the plant to grow healthier, killing the pests, they're just going to come back.
Exactly.
So it's all inclusive to encourage healthy plants that will stimulate their own natural immune system.
You're actually feeding the plant. You're making it healthier, but also you're just making it more resilient. And you actually explained to me, it actually starts releasing its own, how did you explain it? It sets off its own...
It's systemic acquired resistance.
That's
Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, SAR.
SAR, yeah. All those compounds are medicines that the plants create for themselves, and then we're able to then harness them, preserve them, and use them for medicines and for plant medicine for plants.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So it brings together all these aspects of plant care and pest prevention and increasing the plant's own natural immune system, because we don't just want to offer something that someone sprays in the plant and kills the pests.
It's like putting a Band-Aid on a wound and not addressing the actual why is it hurt.
Yes, exactly. It's a whole solution for plant health care coming from many different aspects, and which also includes the soil that the plant is growing in, which I'd love to get into later about, that's where it starts, That's always something when someone comes to me and asks about, what's wrong with my plant. We always start with the environment. What is it growing in? The temperatures, the humidity. What are you feeding it? And what's lacking, because it's those things that are missing that the pest will pick up on.
In my guidebook, in Sacred Organics Guidebook, I talk about the idea of when we bring plants into our home, we're basically saying, well, first of all, they're usually grown in, mass quantities. And occasionally we'll get them from friends and cuttings and stuff. But when we bring it into our home, we're basically taking it out of its natural environments and sticking it into a pot and being like, here, grow here and be happy, and then we're like, and then we totally miss the so I feel like what you've done is and what I try to do also through your beautiful ingredients is try to recreate the environment in your house where your plant feels like, oh, I belong here, instead of it feeling like being placed into a foreign area and forced to thrive.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and so it's from other places. You'd bring them in, and then so often they would have pests.
Absolutely. I love when they come with pests. It allows me to play and research
Yay!
with them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's
always quality control. I do that all the time. I intentionally bring pests in so I can see, what's working, what's not working, how long is it taking. Allow them to inoculate, to repopulate, and create an infestation. And be able to, so we understand, the recommendations that we give. For regular maintenance, spraying once a week or once a month versus what do you do when you have a big infestation. And be a little more aggressive on that. And then with that, it all goes back to it's not just getting rid of them. It's like, okay, we're gonna take care of this infestation, and then we're gonna fix whatever caused that to happen. Whether it's something in the soil, whether there's something that it's lacking in minerals. Just like our bodies, when we're lacking in minerals, then disease is able to take hold a lot quicker. Same thing with the plants. So all of the herbs I use to extract, the nettles, comfreys, yarrows, alfalfa, they're all mineral rich. The whole range of macros and micros, and all of that becomes available to the plants that we're spraying, whether we're spraying it through the leaf and they'll consume it through the stomata, or in the root zone with the soil tonic.
So one of the things that got me really excited about the blend is that it was therapy not just for the plants but also for humans.
Yes, and that's what's fascinating about the essential oils and being able to incorporate that into it is that it's those, just like we were talking about, the plants create them for themselves to as pest deterrents. And lo and behold, those are the essential oils we all know and love and diffuse in our home, used for various therapeutic reasons or medicinal reasons. And so to add those, enhanced concentrated plant compounds into it and spraying your plants with it, it's just inherently enters the air. It affects it
affected my mood so much the first time I sprayed it.
I love so much that it's
mood
so
enhancer.
Enjoyable to use, and if I'm going to do all these houseplants, that aroma is going to be in the air for hours.
And the funny thing is I sprayed it for the first time. I felt better. I was like, when can I spray again?
When can I spray again? Yes. And it is very potent. And if you are tempted to, you have to withhold on the same
I'm
plants.
like, oh wait, I didn't spray the topsoil. So I just went around the next day and sprayed the topsoil.
Which is a great application to do that because, bonus.
Like with fungus gnats.
Exactly.
So for instance, the way you treat fungus gnats with sacred leaf and the sacred soil tonic. Because again, something like fungus gnats and thrips, because they have life stages in the soil, you want to do both. So this is sacred leaf, I always start with a sacred leaf kind of top down approach.
Top down, the entire coverage of the leaf. You don't want to leave them any, especially with infestations. Don't leave any open spots for the pests to go and hide, because that's where they're going to continue. Tops, bottoms, stems.
Everything. And the leaves, always the front and the back. Things like fungus gnats, things like thrips tend to hang out on the monstera type, philodendron, the big broad leaves. So you can always kind of start to notice that damage. I have a lot on our blog post and on our website, a visual of the damage that thrips can really do. And so once you start to treat it from the top down and backs and fronts, and then the topsoil I spray, and then I mix up a batch of this. If this is you only need a quarter of a teaspoon of, this is 96 16-ounce application. So a quarter of a teaspoon of this to water for the sacred leaf, and the same for the sacred soil.
Same ratio. You'll end up using a little bit more if you're doing a full soil drench, which is what you were getting at with using both for pest control. This will, as a fertilizer, full soil drench, it'll penetrate the entire, so they can't hide.
So then you've literally treated from the spray, and you're all happy because it smells so good. Spray, and then you spray the top, and then you drench the soil, and you completely treated the plant, gave it a boost of energy on top of that.
Increasing its health.
And then go back. The first, if you're dealing with pests, then you go back a few days later and you spray it again. You don't necessarily have to drench it again. I feel like the drench could happen less often.
The soil drench you could do even I would do like 1 week and the following week.
Yes.
Whereas like you were saying with the foliar spray and the leaf tonic, every 2 or 3 days for a few times, because that's where you're going to break the life cycle.
Exactly.
That
And then you can use it more.
And
as
then
like a regular.
ongoing back off just to keep them from coming back and gaining any hold.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also the Sacred Leaf Tonic, the thing that I love about it is it's such that people ask me all the time, and they're like, do you put mayonnaise or milk on your leaves? I'm like, no, I just put Sacred Leaf Tonic on my leaves, and it's this beautiful shine.
Yes,
it's
and
like
that's
they
the
glow.
oil. We haven't even talked about the seed oil blend that's in there, the neem, karanja, and jojoba oil that I'm really excited
you have to talk about that.
So if anyone's familiar with using neem oil in the garden, you'll know that it needs to become emulsified for it to be water soluble. So really common things is just to use dish soap with the neem oil at whatever ratio, put it in the water, and when you shake it, then the oil becomes incorporated in the water. And the huge benefit here is that the soap nut extract we include in it is extremely high in saponins, which is the soap, which does the emulsification.
What's
saponin? It's really interesting. Saponins will have a way to trick the plant into thinking that it's actually being attacked. And whenever plants are attacked, they will give off even aromas or different compounds they make within their cells. Neem, as you know, you started studying neem.
Oh yeah,
a
neem
lot.
is
It's fascinating.
unbelievable. Like every part of the
compounds,
tree.
You think, okay, all these compounds kill pests, but how is the tree having these relationships with the microbes and mycorrhizae?
Right.
They're so intelligent in that way to be able to produce compounds that deter the pests and encourage the beneficials.
It is. It's amazing. And also the fact that neem, I mean, this is a little side note, but every single part of the neem tree is we can use it in our everyday lives. I mean, we use it all the time without knowing it. It's in like shampoos, it's in dental care, it's in people use, I think they still do in some places, but you literally can use a branch of a neem tree as a toothbrush for healthy gums.
Yep, and eat the fresh leaves after a meal like a digestive.
Right. It's amazing. And then the bark is used.
And the bark, so I don't toot my own horn about it too much, but the neem tonic blend I put in there is the world's only whole plant neem extract. Okay, we start.
Is that in both of them or just in the soil?
It is in both of them, a higher concentration in the soil tonic.
Sacred soil tonic.
Yes. Yeah. So we take extracts from the leaf, the bark, and from the seed.
Yay!
And same thing with, we haven't talked about the high terpene herbs we use, and then those are that's the same thing. These aromas that the plants
in the
make
Sacred Leaf Tonic, especially,
in the Sacred Leaf Tonic, the rosemary and the peppermint, all those aromas can be signals to other plants. And they're creating these compounds both to attract pollinators to them, and then think about when we make teas for ourselves, essential oils that we include in those.
Yes.
Those are all compounds produced by plants as medicine for themselves. So we're able to harness them.
Say that again. See, that's so amazing. You have to say that again. Then you are treating with both of these. Like when you're treating thrips, you need to spray it. And then not just walk away and be like, I'm done.
Exactly. You have to create a routine to break the life cycle is what it comes down to.
Exactly.
You have to wait for the eggs to hatch and then take care of those. Which is why I recommend it to be a regular part of your gardens. Any plants you care about.
Inside, indoors,
inside and out. Whether it's, depending on the plants, once a week or once a month, something that you're regularly doing to avoid future infestations.
Exactly. You're preparing.
And that whole while, it's acting as a fertilizer for the plant.
Right.
So any direct fertilizers you are giving them, I'd immediately cut back in half.
Right. I would
do
say
half ratio.
I would say even cut it all the way.
That's what I do. I don't want to intimidate people or make them feel like they're not going to feed them, but it is the only fertilizer that my plants receive.
Yep, mine too.
All of them, for years.
Too much of a good thing. I almost feel like that doesn't apply.
Yeah. And I played
too
around
much of a good thing is great.
Join us daily at Sacred Elements at Instagram, or head on over to our website at sacredelements.world, where you will find tips, tricks, blog posts, and a curated shop. Be well, friends.